Hey everybody, Johnny Disc Golf back again with another off-season interview. This time I am joined by the man behind the shot, Mr. James Conrad. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Corey. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. It's always a great time getting to chat with you. And gosh, there's so much to talk about. First though, what have you been up to the past couple weeks? Like, how's off-season been treating you?
The off season's been good. It's been nice to have just a little slower pace and a little time to kind of catch my breath after a pretty long and crazy season.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan and I went to an awesome music festival right after the season down in Florida. We had a good crew, a few other disc golfers, and some friends down in at Swanee Halloween. So
Mm,
that's kind of a great way to just unwind after the season.
mm-hmm.
Then we actually stayed a couple of weeks down in Florida. We rented a little Airbnb by some water just to kind of have some time to ourselves and to unwind. And we got like a inflatable kayak that we're excited to use next year on tour a lot. And we're
Oh,
floating on a lot of the springs down there in Florida, and that was a lot of fun. And then yeah, since then we spent a little over a week at my parents' house down in Blacksburg, Virginia.
mm-hmm.
Celebrated Thanksgiving with them and
Oh,
got to
nice.
catch up with some family. And we've moved on north from there. We're up in Pennsylvania, spending some time with Jordan's mom now. So it's been nice getting to catch up with family and just kind of take it easy.
Yeah, beautiful. A little chilly out there in Pennsylvania, Virginia. A little cold. You been playing at all, or you just kind of keeping it inside?
Um, I I hardly touched a disc in November to be honest, but um, yeah, I actually did get out the other day. There's Jordan's mom met someone in the area that's kind of putting in a private course, and they invited me to come out
Mm,
and take a look at it and everything. So I got out and played around the other day and got to check out a new private course in the area that was cool. They're doing
yeah, it
some good
sounds
work.
wicked. Is that something that you like went into the off season with the plan of like I'm just gonna put the discs on the shelf and not even look at them, or did it just kind of like work out that way because you were at a festival, then you were at family?
Um, I feel like I kind of like to give myself November to just kind of unwind and not really think too much about disc golf or not really worry about practicing or staying up to date with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, as December might honestly be kind of similar. I've been trying to practice yoga and I've gone for a couple jogs in the cold and just trying to take care of my body pretty well, but not worried too much about staying really fresh with the discs. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been playing for over 20 years, so it's not like I'm gonna forget how, in a month or two. And I think just giving the body and the mind a little bit of a break towards the end of the year, and then probably hitting it hard in January. We're trying to maybe head down towards Texas or somewhere warm where it's a lot easier to convince myself to get out there and do the reps.
Yeah, it seems like that's something that like a lot of disc golfers right now are thinking about is like where, traditionally it's like, oh, we just go back home wherever we're from for the off season. But now a lot of players are thinking, where can I go and be able to train for 3, 4 months? Um,
Right.
is that like long term? I know you're like very nomadic and you're in the van life right now, but long term, do you think about, oh, if I'm gonna put up roots, maybe I put it like in a winter, like a calm climate winter area? Do you think about that?
That's definitely crossed my mind. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like,
Hmm.
I don't see myself wanting to winter up north, at least
Yeah.
not while I'm still touring. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to go somewhere where it's going to be 30 degrees out every day or less to
Yeah.
try to stay fresh with the disc golf. But like I
Hmm.
said, it's nice to be able to take some time off and visit family, and then yeah, spend in January at least, if not some in November and
Hmm.
December as well, down in the southern parts of the states. Definitely makes sense than a lot of other options.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the season that just went through. 2021, historic season in a lot of regards. Yours in particular, though, you're kind of the face of a lot of that history, I think, whether you want to be or not, uh, it's part of you now. So let's, just talk about the idea of you throwing new plastic. Before last year, it seemed, I don't even know, heresy almost to think that you'd be throwing a new manufacturer, but you had an incredibly successful season with the most historic shots of all time. How do you feel like your first year with MVP panned out for you?
I think it turned out great. Even if I hadn't made that shot at Worlds to push it into the overtime and end up winning, like I think just having a nice showing there and having several other nice showings throughout the year would have been a relatively
Hmm.
successful season. It wouldn't have been quite as much to hang my hat on, if you will. But I think throughout the season I had some pretty good showings, and I definitely felt like I was getting really comfortable with the plastic. I don't feel like it took me too long. I feel like by April, May of the year, I was feeling pretty dialed in with it and feeling
Hmm.
comfortable. And um, yeah, I feel like I have a good relationship going with MVP. I really respect how quickly and how many of the like commemorative envies they put out, and a lot of the stuff they've done for me since making that shot. They've definitely made it clear that I'm a priority to them, and that's a great feeling. So definitely the start of a great relationship,
Hmm.
I think.
Yeah. Do you feel like your game has changed at all? Like the way that you throw a disc, the type of shots that you look for, how you diagnose a course or a hole, has that changed at all over the year of throwing a completely new bag? Just different discs, different molds, that sort of thing.
I I think it's hard to place my finger on any like one spot it's changed, but
Hmm.
I would say I tried to approach things a bit differently. By my fourth time in a tournament throwing Innova or whatever, I was kind of having an idea of what I was doing going into the like before I even arrived at a course, for example. I could kind of walk through the course in my head and say, okay, I'm going to throw this on this hole and
Hmm.
this on that hole, just like last year. And so having a new bag this year and coming back to events and courses that I already knew, um, I feel like it definitely allowed me to kind of reassess my game plans and my strategies and where my strengths might lie. I think a lot of them still remain similar. My game plan is generally throw it kind of as straight as I can and
Hmm.
generally one of the slower discs that I can manage. So I think overall, like to oversimplify it, I think that's kind of what my game plan was before and kind of how it stayed. But I would say I branched out a bit more and might have been trying some more rollers, for example,
Mm.
and um, I feel like I might have been trying a little bit more understable discs a little more often. I didn't bag too many with in my old Innova bag, but I was really enjoying like the relay and the insanity
Mm.
at certain points this year, which
Hmm.
um, yeah, which was fun.
Yeah, yeah. Especially, like just thinking you're already so dangerous in the woods. Having like a new tool to be shaping lines is, oh gosh, hard to even imagine. Um, Obviously, the question, if we're talking about this past year, is going to revolve around worlds, right? You know, is
Hmm.
there I think this one past worlds is obviously iconic, right, because of the shot. But you are there at all the worlds that I can remember. You've been in the mix, like whether it's out in Vermont or in Peoria. It is that a tournament that you feel like is just special and near and dear to your heart, like not even counting the shot at this point, but like what about that tournament makes you just play like big time players make big time plays type of deal.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've definitely had a lot of success over the last few years at the Worlds. As you mentioned in Vermont, I had made like the final round lead card, and then again in Peoria. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't obviously have one in 2020, but yeah, since 2018, I've kind of been able to find myself in the mix, and it's hard for me to say why there and
Mm-hmm.
not more often throughout the year. Maybe like I'll have stretches where I find myself in those positions, kind of over and over, but then I'll also have weeks where I find myself in 20th place. But I think it's just, yeah, I don't know. I think it's hard for me to really gather that much focus like for an entire season or for like
Mm.
week after week after week, but just knowing that hey, this is the biggest tournament of the year. If you're gonna bring everything you have like mentally to the game, this is the week to do it. And I think I've been able to kind of manage to find that place.
Yeah. uh do you what was your world And I'm going to say on the disc golf course. What was your world on the disc golf course before Worlds compared to what it is now? I say that because I'm just thinking specifically of the Tour Championship. That one day where, I ran into you, and it seems like there is a never-ending line now for your attention, your signature, your autograph. If you're out at a disc golf course, there's people there that are looking to like chum up with you and talk to you. How has your life changed pre-shot, post-shot?
Yeah, as you said, it um definitely got just busier, like more, like you said, more people wanting my attention and wanting my autographs, and it's been at times overwhelming. If I have a tough round, for example, and then I come off the course, and then there's just hundreds of people like wanting my attention, and I'm kind of grumpy and like, I
Mm-hmm.
messed up that
Mm-hmm.
this and that and this, and it can be hard to switch from that. Like, I don't know. I think I find frustration, like if you want something bad enough and then you fail, that's when I feel the worst frustration. And so switching from that like intensity and that trying to focus, and then kind of that disappointment and not playing well, to trying to put on like you know, like
Yeah.
switch faces real quick and be like, hey, it's great to meet you.
Yep.
That's a really difficult transition to make in the blink of an eye. And I think that's been one of the hardest parts. Like, if I can be a little further removed from the competition when I go to interact with the fans, I have a lot easier time,
Mm-hmm.
socializing and just having that small talk with people, even if it's only 10 seconds or 20 seconds with someone. I feel like I can enjoy it more, and they can
Yeah.
probably get a little more out of that time if it's not like immediately after a round or whatever.
Yeah. And Paul Macbeth says this all the time. What other sport are you guaranteed an autograph from your favorite player
Yeah,
literally anytime you go there?
right.
It
It's
doesn't exist.
They might sign one or two on the way to the locker room, but they're not going to sit there for
Yep.
more than how long it takes them to walk down the
Yep.
hallway.
Yeah, and so do you find that, well, I'll speak from my perspective. It does seem 50-50, right? Because I think we're all stoked for it to even be at this point where people care enough to stop us and want to talk to us, and obviously that energy is what creates the industry that we're both living and working in. Um, how do you balance those two things though? Of like, how do you keep them at arm's reach while also staying appreciative and humble and acknowledging that they're just there because they love you?
That's a good question. Um, it's not an easy one. I'm
Yeah.
obviously very grateful for the fans and for how much they like enjoy what we're doing and how much they support us. Like how many of the discs they go out and buy. That's what keeps a lot of us on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing, and it's so much fun to make a good shot and to hear hundreds of people just getting excited for you, and or
Yeah.
thousands of people even.
Yeah.
That's one of the most amazing things there is in the sport, is just how excited the fans get. And yeah, I think to to balance that, I definitely try to make an effort and make myself available to the fans. And but I've also had to get a lot better at saying sorry, not right now, or not today, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. It's like I have a dinner plan with someone in 30 minutes. I have to go tonight. I'll be
Mm-hmm.
around after the round tomorrow though. Or I could see it being easier for us as players to um, for that expectation of us to right after the round to kind of sign up or to sign disc for the lines of people, but rather have a little more often have like signing sessions where it's like, okay, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be at this tent for this hour on this day of the week if you want to come see us, or that kind of thing. I think might make it easier for us as players to balance that without
Mm-hmm.
feeling like we're letting them down when we say no.
Yeah.
Or they're like, man, this was my only chance to meet James, and he just walked right off the course. I feel bad when that happens, but at the same time, I can't give hours of my day every
Mm-hmm.
day to the fans, so it's challenging.
Yeah, and I think that that's almost like it's a team effort between the tour and the players, and for me, this is like a perfect example of a situation where a players union would be so helpful to try and massage out these. Not they're not problems, right? They're good issues, but like
It
just to
could be just
massage
growing
them out.
pains. Right.
Exactly, and to find a happy balance in between the two. Uh, I, I know, and a lot of people do that. You're not Mister Go out and like you're kind of like a private person, right? You like who you like. You're hanging out with your friends. You're not
Hmm.
Mister Go out sociable random people, and so I think you know we're all humans, right? And I think a lot of people need to remember that. And I'm actually very impressed with how much you have grown over the last like 2 years, even. Watching from the media side of things, how capable everyone is at speaking and communicating with players. It's not only is the sport getting more professional, but you, me, everyone involved is too. It's been awesome to
Right.
watch and see. Um, Thinking back on the shot specifically, do you ever? And this is a question that one of my friends actually posed to me out at San Francisco. Do you ever like close your eyes and just think about it, like visualize it going in, like it's a Tuesday, it's noon, or like you're waking up and you're like, man, did that really happen?
I'd say so. It's not too often, but it definitely, yeah, definitely sometimes just kind of out of the blue, or if maybe if the clip gets kind of recycled and I see it, like,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely brings back really strong positive emotions, and it's wow, I still kind of can't believe that I did that. It's pretty cool.
It really
Um,
is. Well, let's say this. What's the thing? You're 1 year into your MVP contract. What is the thing that you're most proud of so far? With it could be yourself professionally, your play, off the course, on the course. What's one thing over the past year that you're maybe most proud of?
um, let's see. I'd say I guess I'm most proud of um, probably how I've carried myself. I think I've done a good job this year of trying to maintain my composure and try to have a good time regardless of how well or how poorly I'm playing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a constant battle for everyone, I think. But I think, yeah, just I'm sure I still had my moments of frustration, but I feel like I was probably solid to play with to my card mates, I hope, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Well, and you saying that reminds me of you after Worlds. The question was posed like, "What's next? You just won the world championship. What's next?" And I think a lot of players would have said like, "I'm gonna win it next year and five after that." LeBron, not one, not two, not three. But what you said is, "I just want to keep playing good disc golf. It's so much fun." Uh,
Uh-huh.
does that still resonate with you? That statement?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's definitely fun to play good disc golf. It's important to try to have fun even when the disc golf's not going too well either, though. But
Yeah.
that's the harder ask. But I think it's important to try to enjoy it even when it's a challenge.
No question. And so let's flip it up from the most proud of. What's the one thing that you would like to change or like address going into 2022 about, your game, the disc golf? Like, what's one thing you're looking to change or address?
Ooh, I'm yeah, I'm hoping to take some of my training this next couple months a little more serious than I have in the past. Hopefully, come out swinging a little better. I didn't have a bad start to the season last year, but I think I could be a little more on top of it,
Mm-hmm.
and get running a little quicker. And then I'm also trying to continue to improve on like the social media side of things. Before this past year, I didn't really do it at all, and then I kind of started to this year. My girlfriend Jordan was helping quite a bit with that, but
Mm-hmm.
we've been kind of trying to plan what kind of directions we want to take that and what kind of things we want to work on. But I think that kind of circles back to what you're saying about how can we balance the interactions with the fans, like show them our
Mm-hmm.
support without having to give too much of our time. And I think that having good like interactions with them in the online kind of space is a good balancing act there, a good way to kind of mitigate my responsibility to spend hours on the course, interacting
Mm-hmm.
with them in person if I'm sharing more of myself with them online.
Yeah, no question. And it kind of brings me to my next topic here. You did a little bit more like media appearances in this past year. A video just came out a couple days ago, the Jomez putting game. I'm sure you were in a few of those throughout the year. The
Yeah.
video that we took place or that we played together, the Chance First Chumps out at
Uh-huh.
USDGC, out at Winthrop. Uh, what was the experience like, doing a little bit more of that? Because I imagine you probably filmed more of those this year than you had in maybe any season.
Yeah, I definitely did more. I feel like part of that was just that more more of the media companies were filming more of those. But
Yeah.
then also, especially after I won the worlds, I feel like I was kind of everyone's first pick. Like, oh, we got to get James on here, and it was
Uh-huh.
fun. At times, it felt a little bit like a burden. It was like, all right, this thing's kind of dragging on. I didn't realize I was going to be here for 3 hours doing this thing or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But most of the time, like playing a putting game with some of my friends, with like Kevin Jones and Paige
Yeah.
Pierce, it's like you don't have to twist my arm to get me out there to goof off with some friends
Yeah.
and play with some discs. But yeah, I think it's a I think it's fun overall.
Yeah.
I think it's cool a cool way for fans to get a slightly different perspective, a little bit more of a candid perspective of who we are as people.
Mm-hmm.
We're still obviously presenting ourselves somewhat. We know there's cameras there, but I feel like it's a little more. It's not like as serious as an actual disc golf round, so we can just have a little more fun with it.
Yeah, no question. That's always been the best part about the Chance First Chump series, in my eyes, is we're all throwing discs, but it's like one of the most communal, like fun atmospheres that I've ever played disc golf in. Everybody's razzing each other,
Uh
everybody's
huh.
like trying to one up each other. It really is like special moments, and I think that is why it's so successful, and that's why those putting game videos are so successful. You can feel the genuine like want from a lot of
Right.
the players, to be there. Um, let's talk about 2022 a little bit and plans, expectations, goals, that sort of thing. The first thing that's on my mind is kind of a follow up to last year's interview that we did, or the one leading into last year's season. You mentioned that you were going to have your hand on some molds and like input into the specific James Conrad line of discs. We saw the Nomad come out, very successful. I know at least a handful of people here at Golden Gate Park who throw it and putt with it, and they love it. What is next? Where do we go from here?
Nice. Yeah, that's felt really special to me to have that input and to have my own line of discs with MVP.
Mm-hmm.
The second disc in my line is definitely well on the way. I think they just teased it in the recent Gyropalooza
Mm,
video, and it's going to be called the
awesome.
Terra, and it's going to be a I think like a fairway driver, maybe 7 to 8 speed disc, and
Mm.
yeah, just kind of worked with what how I wanted it to feel in my hand and what kind of flight I was looking for, and I'm really excited to get my hands on some of those.
So what? I mean, it begs the question: what were you going for as far as a feel in a hand and a flight? Is it? You said you've been fiddling around with some of the flippier discs. I know that you love the Volt, which is for most people a fairly overstable fairway driver. Where does
Right.
this one, or where is this one going to land?
I haven't got my hands on a prototype yet, so we're not quite sure. I'm not quite sure what it'll look
Mm,
like, but I think it will be maybe not hugely different from the Volt, but it might be, yeah, probably a bit less fade, I'm thinking. And I do like the turn resistance of the Volt. I can really hammer on it. Yeah, I
hmm.
think it should be a really good straight flyer, and I think it should be suitable to hopefully a wide range of players. I think that the Volt is, like you said, it's almost too overstable for a lot of people to really throw straight. So
Hmm.
I think that slightly straighter disc, but in a similar kind of a speed range to the Volt was kind of what we were shooting for.
Sure. Yeah, can't wait to even see it and feel it. I know that there's
Yeah.
going to be some sick art on it because MVP like kills it with their art every single time. What about you yourself personally? Are you a goal oriented person? Do you write them down? I know, you know, I have to imagine that this year blew goals and expectations out of the water, just from like a golf business, personal growth, everything perspective. But where are you heading into 2022? What's some goals? Did you write them down? Do you have any? Or are you just trying to throw good shots?
I haven't really written any down or made like hard and fast goals, but I've kind of got my mind on some things. You know, I'd like to continue to improve both in the physical game and especially the mental game. You know, I think as good as you are mentally, you could still be better. So just want
Mm-hmm.
to, um, and yeah, I'd like to be able to try to, I guess, find that focus level I was talking about earlier. Try to find a way to, you know, reset a little quicker week after week, and try to find a way to get into that zone more often throughout the season. And
Yeah.
it'd be great, you know, if I didn't win any tournament besides Worlds again next year, I'd be happy with that. But it would be cool to pick up a couple wins next year and to, yeah, just yeah, stay in the mix a little more often.
Well, last question, before I get you out of here is: do we have a tier list of music festivals along the tour? Which ones are you eyeballing for 2022? Do you have any in mind already?
Uh, I don't, yeah, I don't think I really want to miss the Swanee Halloween one. I think that's top tier for me, and it might conflict with the Silver Series in Lake Marshall, so that's going to make the decision just slightly hard.
Mm,
I'd love to go and support a Silver Series event in Virginia, but at the same time, it's at a time of the year where it's hard to be really motivated
yeah.
to want to get out there and give it all you got at a disc golf tournament when there's that going on. But yeah, we made it also to summer camp this year and had fun
Hmm.
there, but that just kind of happened to work out. I'm not sure that that's something I need to get back to by any means, but it'd be really cool to make it to Floyd Fest also. I know my
Mm.
parents and some family always go to that one every year and haven't been able to go at all since I started touring. So that would be a fun one back in kind of in the hometown neck of the woods. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully can hit at least a couple next year.
Yeah, I pretty much the weekend we got home from tour, or that I got home after the tour championship, we had outside lands. It's usually a little bit earlier in the year, but it really gave me FOMO for all you guys out at Halloween. We the past few years, this last year not included, we've tried to at least get to one, or
Right.
I've tried to at least get to one as part of the big crew, and
Uh-huh.
we didn't get it this year. So our course was closed down for outside lands. It was like so tragic, but I was thinking about you guys all the way over there in Florida.
Oh,
So
nice.
I hope it was all fun and all good things. Um,
Definitely.
James, I want to give you a chance though to thank anybody or any shout outs that you have. The people are listening. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks to MVP Disc Sports for the support this year. It's been a pleasure working with them, and I look forward to continue doing so. Um, and thanks to everyone that supported me on jamesconraddiscgolf.com. We I have a good friend Eric who helps me out with the shipping on that kind of stuff, and I'm about to head to his house so we can work on getting some more stock updated on the website and
Nice.
keep your eyes out there. And thanks, Corey. Thanks, Johnny
Yeah.
Disc Golf.
Yep, my pleasure, James. Seriously, it's always a blast to get to chat with you. I hope somehow you end up on the West Coast this off season. You're more than welcome. We've got a spot for you at the new house. But
Nice.
guys, for this interview, that is about all that I have. If you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.